Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the PopCulture Effect podcast. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us. Welcome all to an emergency episode because my life just everything just went wrong, and every possible chance I took to get this to happen failed. So thank you, Trin, Gemini, for joining me on this stressful emergency recording.
You're welcome. Sorry, I was pausing for a second because there's a car going by.
No, you're fine. Now this week I've got two new trailers that just so happen to come out on the same day. But before we get into the one I'm a lot more positive about, I want to discuss Freakier Friday. Now, for those of you that are unaware, the original Freaky Friday starred Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan as they had the classic body-swapping adventure. Now, I would be talking about how this sequel is going to build on it, maybe have more diverse character moments, but this is a logistical nightmare because the sequel has body-swapping between 4 people. This does not make any sense. I'm sure they'll have a great time having an updated look at the overall character writing and story now that the two titular characters have grown up, so we can get a more mature version of the previous movie, as the first one was more about showcasing an adult regaining their adolescence and the adolescent gaining a respect for the adult's responsibilities, whereas this one will have a lot more to do with the current climate when it comes to both acknowledgement of what women go through and the more cheesier aspects like Jamie Lee Curtis going on a date in Lindsay's body. Now again, I can't stress this enough, I don't know why there's 4 people. This doesn't make sense. How does it determine who switches with who? How would they switch back from who to who? It doesn't make sense. We need the Harlem Globetrotters from Futurama to come solve this issue because it's just, what is Freakiest Friday gonna come out in 10 years and it's gonna be 12 people mixing up their personalities? It's not for me. But I know for a lot of people it will be because this is a classic Disney movie getting a sequel, and you know Disney, they love making their sequels. Let's just hope that there's some actual substance with this one, but I'm sure the next topic I'll be discussing will have a little bit more substance than Freakier Friday. Now, the one problem I have with this movie is I feel like the shine's gone, like the whole novelty of having body swapping. Like, it was cool in the first one, now it just doesn't make sense, and it's kind of played out, and it's kind of late to the party if we're gonna be honest, because the first movie came out literally 22 years ago. Like, yeah, I get it, you want to have the story with updated, aged up characters so that way you could tell new stories, talk about things from new perspectives, but I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of done with Disney just perpetuating old IPs and projects and having Lilo and Stitch come back, and it's just, I just want something new and something fresh. But again, that's case by case. Some remasters, remakes, or sequels are going to be seen in a better light, and some are not, and this one, yes, I love Lindsay Lohan, and yes, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but was this really the movie we wanted a sequel for? I don't really know. But again, it's probably going to be a middle-of-the-road movie. It probably won't compare to the original, as these sequels often do, but I'm sure Lindsay and Jamie will have a wonderful time getting to reprise their roles. Now, that's pretty much everything I have to discuss about Disney's Freakier Friday, and like I said, I'm going to be waiting for Freakiest Friday when they have 8 to 12 people body swapping, and then it's going to be even more of a logistical nightmare than this movie is going to be. But now I think it's time for me to send it back to me and Gemini as we discuss the recent Lilo and Stitch live-action trailer.
But yes, you are welcome. You dragged me out of my cave for this shit.
Yeah. Well, I tried to grab a lot of it.
For me, just a bitch. Yeah, you tried to drag them all out.
Yeah.
And I noticed some of them honestly could have been here, but they seem to be a little too preoccupied with things that are not that important, but I'm not going to rant about that.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't really care. As long as I have somebody here to talk about the Lilo and Stitch trailer, because that's what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm upset. I'm not upset about the trailer, because the trailer looks fine. It looks like what you would expect from the next generation viewing of this like we have for all these other remakes. But you are the artiste. You tell me what you think about this, because I didn't watch it.
I forgot to watch it. I'm sorry. Let me just... Let me pull it up quick.
We are true professionals. So I just want to say, I'll at least finish the point I was gonna make. Like when I was watching the trailer, it gave me a little bit of nostalgia and taking me back to the old days. But there were a few things that they changed and a few things that I didn't really like about the presentation of the trailer, the tone of the trailer, like the overall like visual tone, I should say. Especially with some of the designs that they've chosen. But I feel like media has kind of just crammed Stitch into our faces through the Super Bowl and other advertisements to, soften the blow, because we hate live action, but they keep making it, and but animation doesn't make money. Oh, well, that's because you don't prioritize animation. Oh, but live action, look how much money they make. I hate it. But yeah, with with both of us being the artistically minded, and with off recording, you did mention that there was something kind of important you wanted to talk about with how they're approaching at least like the casting. So this is I hate it. I hate that my childhood franchise is being it. Like, I didn't care when Lion King was remade. I didn't care. I didn't care when any of the other ones came out. But this one hit too close to home.
All my comes out on my birthday. Jesus Christ, I hate that. Anyway, so is it the portion that is the most replayed that you were thinking that I saw?
I was thinking the thing that I was thinking about was with the reveal of Pleakley, because he is horrifying.
Oh, okay. Well, first thing was a human disguise. What the is that?
Yeah.
What the was that?
It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah, give me his dumb disguises.
Right?
Because that was the
I don't
charm.
want to see no digital overlay. I want to see Pleakley cross-dress.
Yes, wow, Disney, way to take a fucking step backwards in your progressive agenda. Honestly. Damn. Pleakley was a gender fluid icon, and you're gonna do him dirty like that?
Yeah, no,
how dare you?
No, I just hate his design, because he looks slimy and gross, and the tones of...
I think he was supposed to be a slimy-esque alien, but in 2D animation, they didn't probably prioritize that, which is fair. There'll be a lot of details they would have to constantly use.
I think my problem with it is the color tones. Everything looks very dark. So I think that, if the saturation was cranked on this trailer, I think I would have a better opinion about it.
Which is weird. The only positive I will say so far is Stitch does look good. So far, that's the only positive I have, is Stitch actually doesn't look that bad. He still looks a little goofy, but not in a bad goofy, because even animated Stitch was look goofy.
I was gonna say, I think that might be part two. That might be one of two things. One, we didn't get a Sonic the Hedgehog thing where we got a horrible design that would then later cushion the blow of a good design. We just started with a good design. And two, like I said, they kind of shoved Stitch into all advertisements like they did with the Super Bowl commercials and with the recent posters that they put out, homaging the old trailers that would come out where Stitch would kind of with and mess with other Disney properties.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. But yeah, I'm really appreciative of the design of Stitch. I don't like Lilo. I don't.
Your
mic got out hard there. Jeez.
Sorry. Yeah, there's something off, and I'm sure this little girl is trying her hardest, and I'm sure she will do as well as she can for being as young as she is.
She is doing a great job as a child actor.
Which, and I have my opinions about child actors. It's a very gray area that I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm sure she's doing a great job.
But she's not playing Lilo. Lilo's kind of a bitch, honestly.
That she's a bitch. It's just she's a very spunky child. And this girl isn't giving me spunky.
There's no spunk. There's no chaos. She's just a sweet little girl. I think that's the thing that made me like Lilo and Stitch, was that you had two chaotic characters that had to work through their chaos as the movie franchise went on. But no, in this movie, we get little sweet girl and her chaotic dog. And I just don't think that. I think that's too too white toast, you know? It's too...
Yeah, and like, Nani looks fine. Protective older sister who's just trying to keep shit together. I do hope that they do have that as a point. She didn't have much screen time in the trailer.
I don't think any character like got much screen time except for Stitch, honestly.
Yeah, I am scared that they didn't show Gontu.
Oh, I'm terrified.
That scares me because I don't know what they'll do. Are they going to axe him? I hope not.
They better not. He's literally, honestly, out of the main cast, he was my favorite. He had that kind of, yeah, he was a mad scientist, crazy guy, but he had that warmth. He had that like very, like he was just kind of the peacemaker, if you will.
Gontu?
Well, yeah, wasn't he always the guy that was just trying to like be all happy and like?
No, Gontu was the like 20-foot tall shark face guy who was hunting
sorry.
them.
I thought you were thinking of Jumba.
No.
Is that his
no,
name?
They didn't show. Yeah, I'm scared to see his design too because they kept him in his human disguise.
Yeah, no. Going back, yeah, you are right. I am worried with how CGI-ified Big Boy Shark Boy is gonna be. I got my characters mixed up there. My bad on that. But
you're fine.
Oh yeah, you know it's gonna be gross.
I don't like Mr. Bubbles' design.
Yeah, see, when I was watching the trailer, I was very disappointed with what they chose for Mr. Bubbles because Mr. Bubbles in the animated show is a brick house. He is a 6 foot tall man. And who they got is kind of a little brother guy, you know? It's not...
For one, I get in...
Mr. Bubbles Jr.
Yeah, I get in the movie, he was... he basically is kind of like a Men in Black homage.
Yeah.
In a sense. However, like, there was never a scene where he was creeping in his car with, like, binoculars.
Yeah, no, that's... man, I hate that because Mr. Bubbles was always the guy who would just show up, do his business, and get out. I don't know why in this movie we have to have... They could have just done a shot-for-shot remake. Why do they have to add stuff in to change the characters we love so much?
Yeah, no, unless that... No, he's in, like, a suit, so I think that is supposed to be Mr. Bubbles, which I don't like that design. He's giving me, Mr. Bubbles Jr.
Exactly.
And I don't like it.
I'm just kind of scared how they're going to do Hamsterville, because it's probably going to look absolutely disgusting. Hamsterville, like, okay, that's another thing I want to get into. There's the whole, like, visual designs we can get into and talk about, but there's also the audio voice actors. Like, are we really going to get voice actors for these characters that are going to be able to like match up to the vibe and to the overall character that the originals does? It's the same situation as Aladdin with the live action and Robin Williams and Will Smith, you know? We get these iconic roles and these iconic portrayals, and how is this good? Like, how are they going to make it better in this? How are they even going to make it even close to as good as it was in the original?
I am a firm individual who does not believe in live action remakes.
Well, yeah, it's just it's honestly a waste of time.
It is. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and it's a waste of energy. Because here's the thing. Yes, in theory, there are people who would like to see sometimes cartoons reimagined in a live action sense, just so it can feel more real. I get the appeal to it, but here's the thing, and I will continue to hammer this home until the end of my days. It is almost impossible to translate not only the tone, but sometimes expressions that can be drawn or even digitally crafted in animation than it can be in live action. Yeah, humans are expressive. Yes, we are very expressive creatures. However, we are still restricted by the muscles in our face and our own skin sacks. We cannot make exaggerated facial features like you can in animation. As such, certain funny scenes do not deliver the same powerful effect that they do when in live action versus animation. That's why in live action, slapstick is commonly more used to carry humor.
Well, yeah, like you can have live action people have that expression, but it's CGI and it looks awful.
So at that point, why do a live action if 90% of the movie is carried by CGI? Why?
Yep.
Why?
Just make an animation. Just make it a 3D animated movie. Like, do a different animation style.
Disney has popped off with a lot of their 3D animated movies the past couple of years.
Yeah, and then
why
they
make
put
it
out
live action?
Sorry, go ahead.
Like, yeah, why? Oof, yeah, that.
I was about to say they just put out Snow White, and it's the worst rated one of the worst rated movies they've had, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta keep doing live action."
No, they don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing: if you wanted to have this like more realistic tone, like not tone, but like style to it. Encanto was animated, but it still looks beautiful. The hair, how they animated the hair is so beautiful and realistic. The clothes, how they move and fold. You can still do that and still do animation. They don't need this live action bullshit.
See, and I'm especially mad because with Lilo and Stitch, it was kind of a full start to finish series. We had the original trilogy, we had the original series, and then we had the anime, which was a sequel. We literally had everything we could have wanted. There was nothing else. We didn't need anything.
Man, I haven't interjected like this in a while. I wonder when the last time I did was. Anyways, I didn't intend this to be a fully nostalgia-based episode, but sometimes things work out beautifully, depending on your view of beauty in terms of, you know, all the remasters and remakes that we've been getting. Oh well, one good thing I will note is that we will probably never see a live-action Lilo and Stitch series, unless they want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the CGI budget and somehow have to faithfully adapt the Recess, Proud Family, Jake Long American Dragon, and Kim Possible crossover episodes, because that would then mean we would get a live-action Recess, Proud Family, Jake Long American Dragon, and another live-action Kim Possible, and that is something no Disney fan actually wants. One thing I think Disney fans do want is Myrtle. Where is she? She's not on the casting list. She wasn't in the trailer. Did they just get rid of Myrtle? Yeah, I know she was a hated character, but she was one of the most important characters in terms of Lilo's growth, but oh well, I guess Disney doesn't want to have a bully in their movie. And as a smaller addendum for the Snow White situation, it seems even the producer, Mark Platt, had to reprimand Rachel Ziegler for basically ruining the movie's reputation going into the release. We did not need any additional content for this franchise, aside from maybe, like, I don't know, video games or whatever. Maybe we'll get... No, see, the only way I could see this being warranted is if they had actually pulled the trigger and made this a one-for-one remake, because, like I've been saying, like, I hate when the changing of a film style or the change of the way you want to present a movie changes the fundamental parts that we love about the film. Like you said, we have to see Mr. Bubbles be a creep, be a roadside binoculars man. That's not Mr. Bubbles.
I know. No, he was a stoic dude that showed up. Honestly, they never, and that's the thing, like, yeah, with it's because it's a kid's movie, you have to take that with a pinch of salt in the sense of watching it as a kid. Yeah, you don't know he's a agent. You just think he's some overly stoic, overly serious, like, child protective services guy. As an adult, when you watch it, yeah, I'm sure you could see it a mile away, but it's a kid's movie, you know? Take it with a grain of salt. However, he was never blatant about it. In this, it's so obvious that it's like, why?
Right. And see,
I hate it.
I am just fearful that, like, my biggest fear is that they're going to do this for all the movies. For Stitch Has a Glitch and Stitch and Leroy. I'm terrified.
The only other thing I will give them is, at the very least, it looks like they are trying to stick with keeping the characters more true to their look. And what I mean by that is it looks like they are using individuals you would see in Hawaii, such as Lilo and Nani look like they are Hawaiian. Mr. Bubbles is a black man. At the very least, they are not race changing. That pisses me off more than anything.
M. Night Shyamalan Avatar.
Exactly. So I will give them there because that's the thing. And Robbie, you can cut this out if you want to, but that's where they f***ed up with Snow White. I'll be dead honest.
Well, okay, I won't cut it out because I just wanted to talk about this because the Snow White kind of pisses me off. Why were they CGI? Why couldn't you just hire 8 dwarves to play the roles so that way it wasn't an uncanny valley of seeing CGI-faced men with a real-life person?
No, I don't know. Why did they make Snow White look like burnt toast?
Yeah.
Toasty.
I mean, the only good thing is that, like, around the same time, Death of Snow White came out, so we got another schlocky horror film based on another old property.
I guess, yeah, but like, such a thing. So like, this is what I don't understand about Disney. So with Lilo and Stitch, it looks like they're doing a good job in their casting.
Exactly.
In some aspects.
That's what,
it's hard.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to say that's the one thing I do appreciate. The actors are acting their butts off. They are doing the job they are given. That is not my problem. My problem is the creative team behind it. But go ahead.
Yeah, so like, it looks like at the very least, now granted, this is a trailer. For all we know, at some point, maybe the actors might suck ass and maybe they might not deliver as well as they should. But at that point, you know, at the very least, they look like their character. Because that is, I feel, if you're gonna do a live action, try to get someone that can portray the character properly. Yes, they have to be a good actor and be able to portray the personality right, but I feel like another big instance is they have to look very similar. Yes, that can be difficult with animation to live action. Getting someone that looks one for one is almost impossible, but you can get around it by getting people that have a similar aesthetic and vibe. It looks like Lilo and Stitch hit the mark on this. Snow White, I'm sorry, did not. I'm sorry, they really missed the mark on the casting.
Now, as I said in the previous recording, some remakes, remasters, and sequels will be seen in a better light, and some won't. However, this one I have a little bit more of a fonder spot for, because we get to see Happy Gilmore 2. Now, this was another trailer put out by Netflix, and this looks to be a soulful sequel to the original, where we see the titular Happy Gilmore character come back to face the next generation of golfers, and I absolutely love when they have these types of moments. Sure, I have a problem when companies just can't stop perpetuating all the stuff we love from the past, but at least with this one, maybe it's because it's Adam Sandler, maybe because it's one of the most infamous golfing movies in history, but to see this movie come back 30 years later, nearly 30 years later, is pretty impressive. Now, from the way the trailer kind of approaches it, it's very coming of age, it's very showcasing why the legends are still the legends, but they do still have to either keep up with the competition of the new generation or relinquish their title. And I'm sure along the way we'll see a couple new characters pop up, and who knows, we may even see one character shine brighter than Happy himself. Now, from what it seems, Adam Sandler and possibly one or two other characters will be returning to this movie, but it looks to have a fresh coat of paint. It looks really good, and it looks to be straight from the original down to Happy himself wearing his iconic hockey jersey. Now again, I can't say this without also saying I just want new IPs. I want new concepts, I want new shows, but when it comes to reaching back into the bag of tricks and actually treating them with respect, that's what I can get behind. I can get behind Happy Gilmore 2 being a movie that is celebrating and really trying to capture the essence of the original. Now, I know Disney and Netflix are kind of looking at these two franchises pretty much exactly the same. Take something old, make it new, put it out there. But I feel like people will have a more fond heart for Happy Gilmore than with Freaky Friday, because I feel like with Happy Gilmore, it was a lot more of a soulful, emotional movie, whereas Freaky Friday was kind of just the 19 again. The classic comedy movie with not a lot of substance. But again, I will always scream this from the hilltops. Netflix, Disney, protect your IPs, celebrate them, and do whatever you can to enhance them and make them better. But if you are just going to repeatedly throw out whatever you can, put out low budget, low effort schlop, just so that way you can spin the nostalgia wheel again and get everybody back into the box office seats or back into the streaming seats, it seems, people are going to start turning away. We have seen this now with countless new things, and we've seen that actually have a proper effect on movies. Just recently with the new Snow White movie, it's got a near 40% Rotten Tomatoes review. It's gotten 2.5 out of 10. It is not a good movie, and Disney only put it out because, hey, we got something old. Let's make it new, and those idiots will buy it anyways. Now, I won't say I'm not one of those idiots, because I definitely am. I love nostalgia. I will always love to be reminded when the times were good. But I am also somebody that will put his foot down when quality is not being met. When franchises are not being respected, I will speak out about it. I will have a problem with it because companies, even Netflix with Happy Gilmore 2, only want your eyes and your subscription. All I can do is just value the effort that's put into these projects, and Happy Gilmore 2 looks to be one to look out for. Now, that's pretty much everything I have to discuss when it comes to Happy Gilmore 2. I'm sure it'll be great to see Adam Sandler back in his titular role. As I said with Freakier Friday, I love Adam Sandler, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, I love Lindsay Lohan. It's just how these sequels are being interpreted and how they're being respected. That is my perspective on it. But now I think it's time for me to send it back to me and Gemini as we end this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're checking us out on CJSW, make sure to check out all the lovely content they have going on over there. And once again, thank you, Gemini, for joining me.
A pleasure as always.
And we will see you in the next episode next week as it'll hopefully get back to normal. I hope. Bye!
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna start it now. We're good to go.
Okay.
You're enjoying your...
Yes.
How many flavors of jelly beans?
49.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah.